Hey viewers, this is A to Z Customs. Today we are doing an oil change on my brother's 2002 Dodge Dakota. It's a 4.7 liter. It's a pretty easy job to do, and it's going to be a quick tutorial. I hope this helps you out. Okay, so we hopped under the vehicle. Here's the canister oil filter right here. And then you have your oil drain plug, which is right over here at the back of the motor. It is a 1/2 inch, so you're going to want to loosen that up first and drain the oil, and then we will remove the oil filter.
All right, cutie.
All right, so we had to whip out a breaker bar on this thing because the oil plug is really tight. So now we're loosening it, and oil's gonna start pouring out here in a second. We got our oil pan ready. Unfortunately, the nicer, bigger oil pan I like to use is missing, so we're using this cheap thing. And there's oil. And it was definitely time for a change.
Yep.
It was past time for a change. Now we're going to let it drip for a minute. George, push your pan forward a bit. No, back. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So we are actually going to leave the hole open while we take out the oil filter. Because sometimes they'll take off the pressure and send some more oil out the hole. And I'm just gonna leave it sitting like this for a good couple minutes, let most of the oil drain out.
It gave me one.
All right, so now we are removing the engine oil cap. Apparently it's on there really good, and he needs a really big pipe wrench that I use for plumbing. Now, one thing people sometimes get freaked out by is when they lift their engine oil cap and they see this residue in there. And for somebody with, that's seen a blown head gasket before, that might bring up some really bad memories, because when water mixes with oil, it makes this yellowish sludge residue resembling that. It's completely normal for a little bit of condensation to come up right below your oil cap, and it'll look something like that. Now, if you did actually have coolant mixing with your oil, then you would have a lot worse symptoms than something like this. When we just did the oil change, you would have that sludge coming out of the drain pan area, and you would also, of course, be losing coolant. So we have none of those symptoms. It's just something normal that occurs. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the old oil filter. I have my cap filter wrench right here. It's a 93 millimeter, and this is the one that I actually use on my Ranger, and luckily the oil filter is the same size on his Dodge. So we're just going to use this one.
That's not a lot of oil.
Here's the oil filter. And get that pan underneath. Ooh, that's some nasty oil. This man really takes his oil changes to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that longevity out of these oil changes. Woo. Hey, it's all right, so amazingly, the drain plug that we pulled out of the truck did not have a gasket on it, and that's probably the reason why it was so difficult to get off. So ran to our friendly neighborhood AutoZone and picked up a drain plug gasket, and now we're gonna pop it back on. All right, so we got the bolt back on. Now we're gonna put the new oil filter on and fill it with oil. Alright, so whenever I'm changing the oil filter, I put some oil on the rubber gasket. Just helps it bond better when you're putting it on. So Got enough oil on it now. And we're gonna put it back on. So there's the oil filter. We got that popped on, back on the same way we took the old one off. Now with oil filters, you don't want to tighten it too much. The standard rule is you hand tighten it and then give it about a half turn with the wrench. And that's all you need to tighten these up. Okay, so the Dodge Dakota 4.7 liter takes about 5.5 quarts of oil. Of course, that'll depend on what engine you got in it. The smaller engine size is going to take less oil. Now, I use the high mileage oil on this truck. It's got a little higher mileage, and they recommend 10W30, but we put in a little bit thicker at 10W40 oil into the truck. So that's what you need. Thanks for watching A to Z Customs. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please subscribe to our channel. Y'all have a good one.